All right, as people are still joining us, we're going to go ahead and get started. So grateful that you're here this evening to join us in a conversation with 5 of our 59 Pepperdine Olympians. We're so glad that you're here and that you're going to have a chance to look behind the scenes of what actually happens from the standpoint of a competitor from the Olympic Games. Not all from the United States, by the way. So we're grateful you're here. As you know, Pepperdine has a long tradition of athletic excellence that happens on the field, on the court, in the water, on the track, and in the classroom. Pepperdine student athletes are well-rounded, hardworking folks who compete with purpose and compete with pride and have been incredibly successful with 10 national championships in a variety of sports. And as I mentioned earlier, 59 Olympians. We have 5 of them with us this evening who are going to give us a window into what it's like to live the Olympic dream. And I'd like to introduce our host for this evening, who is one of our former student athletes. Not too long ago, from 4 years ago, Jimmy Gehrels graduated, was one of our volleyball players, and now he is part of our advancement and alumni team with the athletics. Please welcome Jimmy Gehrels.
Yeah, thanks, Jim. Just so thankful to be with you guys this evening. Let's just kind of get going right away and dive into it. So first of all, we're gonna just go around and Terry, I'm gonna start with you. We're gonna have each of our Olympians kind of introduce themselves, share a little bit about their connections to the games as well as their connections here to Pepperdine.
Thanks, Jimmy. I was part of our Olympic team in 1980 that boycotted, and I came back and got to play in 1984, 1988, 1992, and then I came back as a coach in 2008, 2012, and currently I'm head coach of the water polo team and love being part of the Waves family.
Awesome. Thanks, Terry. Jennifer, let's go over to you. Introduce yourself.
You are on mute, Jennifer, so we can't actually hear you.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Gutierrez, and I went to Pepperdine back in 80. I graduated 89, 91. I live in Denver, Colorado. I was on the Sydney Olympic team. And what else were we sharing?
Your connection to Pepperdine, right? So yeah.
I went to school there. I got my bachelor's in teaching and my master's in education.
Awesome. Sean, over to you. You're muted.
You're on mute as well.
I'm Sean Rooney. Thanks for having me here today. Class of 2005, my senior year, we won a national championship by beating UCLA down at their home court. I don't know if this is the appropriate time to bring that up, but it's never stopped me before. And I don't talk about being an Olympian all the time, but I live in Southern California. So anybody that's wearing blue and yellow on the street, I'll stop them and tell that too. After graduating, I turned pro and played in the 2008, 2012 Olympics. I coached for a couple years at Pepperdine after my career. And also I work at a small startup right now where there's a handful of waves. So basically Pepperdine is in my bones.
That's awesome. Last but not least, Nicole, I think you're coming from the farthest away potentially. Oh, well, I got married.
I am. I'm on the Gold Coast in Australia, but I'm also very, very proud to be a Wave and really honoured to have been asked to be part of this panel. A little bit about me. I played indoor volleyball for the women's team at Pepperdine from 1994 to 1997. I did a sports medicine degree while I was there. After that, I came back to Australia and I started playing on the international FIVB beach volleyball world tour. And I played on that for about 10 years and represented Australia at the 2004 Olympics for beach volleyball.
That's awesome. Merrill, I could never forget you. Over to you.
Thanks, Jimmy. And thank you, Jim, for having this and setting this up. I'm Merrill Moses. I went to Pepperdine and graduated in 99. I was a 4-year starter for Pepperdine and won a national championship in 1997. And that propelled my career actually to get invited to the national team. And Coach Schroeder was my coach during all 4 years that I was there. And he kind of instilled that Olympic dream in me, which I'm very appreciative of, because it propelled my career to actually start training with the team after we won that national championship. And I got to represent not only Team USA, but Pepperdine as well as an Olympian in 2008, 2012, and 2016. And, you know, one of the nicest things that I was able to be a part of is I ended up getting a phone call from Coach Schroeder in 2012. And I became the assistant coach in 2012 and was still able to train with the blessing of this wonderful university to train and coach for the 2016 Olympic Games as well. And now I'm the associate head coach at Pepperdine as well for the water polo team, alongside my longtime coach and friend and mentor, Coach Schroeder, who's on this call as well.
That's awesome. Terry, I want to come back to you, right? In terms of, you know, boycotting the 1980 games, you know, coming back in 84 and not only competing, but, you know, competing here at Pepperdine in the pool that you played collegiately at. I mean, what was that connection like in terms of just kind of coming full circle, I guess, if that makes sense?
Yeah, it was, you know, I thought I had this Olympic dream to be an Olympian when I was 9 years old and a swimmer. And I first watched the Olympics on TV. I said told my dad I was going to do that. And, you know, made the team while I was here at Pepperdine playing as an athlete in 1978. And in January of 1980, we found out that we were going to boycott the Olympics in Moscow. And it was crushing, you know, because in my mind, I thought that that would be my one and only chance to make the Olympic team. You know, shortly after the boycott, and many nights of kind of feeling really sorry for myself and really sad and kind of depressed about the whole thing, I found out that the Olympics, you know, not only were going to be in LA, but water polo was going to be at Pepperdine. So 9 out of the 11 guys that were on the team in 1980 decided to come back and play in 1984. And it was opening ceremonies were unbelievable to march in, you know, to the Coliseum and hear 100,000 people chanting USA, USA, USA. It was an unbelievable experience. And then to experience the games right here at Pepperdine with friends and family and you know, the Pepperdine family that I love, it was really a special event to be a part of that Olympic Games.
That's awesome. Jennifer, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I read somewhere that you were officially the first, what was it? The first triathlete from the United States to ever qualify for an Olympics Games. Is that correct? You're muted. Oop.
You're on mute, Jennifer. I'm sure what you're saying is awesome, and we look forward to hearing it.
Oh, you didn't hear the whole story? No, I was a swimmer, and I was grateful to have a career in swimming going to Pepperdine. That's how I was able to go to college in general. So thank you, Pepperdine, or I would have been at a community college back home. But I was also a runner in high school, but really you have to pursue one sport once you go to college. So when I graduated, from Pepperdine, I got a bike, and obviously I excelled in that, and then got good enough to get on the US team, went to trials in Australia, and the first American to cross the line got the first spot. So I was really grateful to be part of that.
Yeah. Wow. That's awesome. Sean, just, you know, maybe walk us through, you know, what does kind of being an Olympian mean to you, right? I mean, there's so many things that tie into it, all the dedication, all those years of working to get there, but, you know, capping it off, you know, winning a gold medal, you know, talk about, you know, what does being an Olympian mean to you?
Again, there we go. To me, it's being an ambassador, and sometimes these days we attribute that to sponsors or being a brand ambassador, and that's obviously not what I'm getting at. Yeah, we we go to the Olympics and you generally represent your country, but there's so much more. Maybe not for NBA players, but for most athletes at the games, the Olympics is the pinnacle of your sport. So the athletes are ambassadors for their sports on the biggest stage. And finally, and probably most importantly, it's being an ambassador for the Olympic movement, which there couldn't be a better time to discuss how to build a better world by bringing out the best of the best from all over the planet in the spirit of inclusiveness and competition as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. Nicole, I'd be interested in hearing your answer to that question too, because I think everyone, it's probably a little bit different, right? In terms of it's all about being Olympian, but for you, coming from Australia, coming to Pepperdine and then, returning home and getting to represent your country, your people on the beach, competing in beach volleyball. I mean, what was that like? What does being an Olympian mean to you?
Oh, I mean, there's an immense amount of pride that goes with representing your country in any way. But I think at the Olympics, it's like Sean was saying, it's on the biggest stage there is. And it was definitely the pinnacle of my sporting career. And I think that the Olympics is my dream from when I was 12 years old. And funnily enough, watching the 1984 and the 1988 Olympics were the ones that really kicked off that Olympic dream for me. I remember seeing Carl Lewis in doing his thing in 1988. And at that time, I didn't even know what volleyball was. And I just remember watching him be an amazing athlete, and long jump was a thing I loved. And I was like, wow, the spectacle that came with the Olympics and the ability to, I guess, show your commitment, show excellence in sport, show that determination. And like Sean said again, just that unity of bringing the world together to compete in sport is amazing.
Yeah. Merrill, same question to you. Obviously coming back and now coaching at Pepperdine with all those connections. But what does being an Olympian mean to you?
Being an Olympian to me means everything. A lot of people don't know this about me, but so after we won the national championship in '97, that propelled my career to get invited to train with the national team, and trained and was one of the last people cut a month before the Olympics in the 2004 Olympic Games, and thought my dream of being an Olympian was over. And actually stepped away from the sport for 2 years, and got a phone call from Coach Schroeder in 2006 to come back when he was coach of the team. And making that Olympic team was a goal of mine, and it takes a lot of discipline and goal setting. And so to think that goal was never going to be accomplished, and then actually to obtain it was amazing. And as Sean said, being an ambassador now, I do a lot of things with children and teaching the younger generation. And I think that's important to instill all the good habits and necessary things to try and obtain your goals, and be an ambassador for the sport, and make people realize that with hard work, discipline, and good work ethic, anything is possible. And don't let people tell you that you can't accomplish your dreams, because there's a lot of people that do that. And I think that's something that's big for people to teach kids, that good things can happen if you put in the work.
Yeah. Jennifer, I realize I never actually asked you that same question, right? I got excited about the triathlete and all that kind of stuff, but yeah, what does being an Olympian mean to you?
One of the biggest things being Olympic, of course, is representing your country, being proud, but more than anything is, anyone in any sport, the struggles you go through, that everybody standing there went through an enormous amount of accomplishments and struggles. And even if it's just a national team or anything you do, it's just those struggles and what it takes to work through them. And it teaches you so much character about yourself later in life, whether it's an Olympian or just what sports give you.
That's awesome. Jim, I think you've got a couple questions here.
Yeah, I wanted to jump in and follow up on a conversation you were having with Terry. And let me also invite the audience. There will be a time at which we're going to be asking your questions. So please, in the chat box, insert your question. And then toward the end of this conversation, Jimmy will ask some of those questions to our panelists. But Terry, following up on the incredible disappointment that it must have been in January of '80, to be told that for political reasons, your dreams seem to be shattered. And then the next Olympic Games to be doing so at Pepperdine, the idea that it's going to be in LA is one thing, and then it's going to be in your home pool is another thing. Tell us about what it felt like to be, I mean, is there such a thing as home water advantage by playing at home? And how did that feel to be not only an Olympian, but also to be doing so in a place that you knew so well?
Yeah, it's it was a very proud moment for sure. I mean, it was Pepperdine was such a huge part of my really, obviously going to school there, but it allowed me to train, and people supported me so much. I mean, Dr. Howard White was a big reason that water polo was held at Pepperdine, and he was a huge supporter of athletics, just like you are. So, when I found out the Olympics were going to be in LA and at Pepperdine specifically, while I was training at Pepperdine, I would visualize, the flagpoles there, and I'd see that USA flag being raised at the end of the games for us when we won the gold medal. So it was a very powerful, moment to be able to sit in the pool, train, and visualize, whatever, 3 months later, 2 months later, 1 month later, we're going to have the games right there. And, I can still see vividly in my mind that gold medal game with, 5,500 people on the grass side of the pool and another 1,500 on the gym side of the pool, and people watching from the road and people watching from the hill. And they had beautiful lights up, that it was one of the most awesome venues I've ever been at. I mean, it was lots of traveling around the world, lots of playing in different tournaments, but Pepperdine was, for many reasons, one of the most beautiful venues ever.
Well, and I think those of us who are watching will remember that we got the silver, which was incredible. Yeah. And yet it left a little bit of, I want it again. Yeah. And so Angela, if you could put up the picture where I had the privilege of putting a gold medal around the neck of Terry Schroeder at the Pepperdine Conference Championships there. I remember making a comment to you like, bet it feels nice to get a gold here at this pool, huh?
It certainly did. It certainly did. And we were happy to have you there. And both Merrill and I and the team were extremely excited when you jumped in the pool to celebrate with us. That was awesome.
Well, those of you who can see this at home, that's me completely upside down. And yes, I was wearing a shirt because no, I am not in shape to be out there with the guys shirtless. You can go ahead and pull that down now, Angela. Let me ask Merrill a question, then I'll throw it back to Jimmy, and I'll just periodically jump in. So Merrill, as someone who was coached by an Olympian, as someone who was brought onto the team, and someone who played as many games as you did for the USA over the course of 3 Olympics, how do you talk to your team now here at Pepperdine about kind of what it is to reach for something beyond even playing here at Pepperdine? Do you have conversations with the team, and does that create some sort of additional incentive for them to give it everything they have here at Pepperdine?
I think that it all comes down to trying to be the best that you can be every day. And we always talk about our pillars of success with our team, and talking about excellence, commitment, respect, grit, family, and discipline. We always look at different things every day, and usually when one of those things is faltering, you can look back and see that you got to fix one of these little areas. And I think that also playing at the highest level and being an Olympian, obviously that comes with a lot of pressure, but also comes with a lot of respect. And, we always try and teach our athletes to do the best they can in and out of the water. And so I think all the experiences that I've learned as a player and a coach with Coach Schroeder, and all the different things that I've learned playing against other people, I think with everything that we've learned, we try and teach all of our athletes a little bit here and there from what we've learned, and teach them to do their best. And we also talk about our failures, and you got to learn from your failures as well.
Amen. Amen. Thanks. Back to you, Jimmy.
Thank you. Nicole, I'm going to start with you on this one. Obviously, you mentioned, right, having that goal and wanting to maybe one day play in the Olympics, right? But, what would you tell your younger self or a student athlete, beginning their athletics journey? And I'll also twist it for you, right? I mean, you mentioned, your daughter just started playing volleyball, I think, right? So, how can you, kind of share with kind of that next generation of future Olympians, what would you tell yourself?
It's really fun now to get the opportunity to try and instill those, I guess, that attitude and those values in my daughter while she's just starting out on this journey. She only started playing a couple of months ago and she loves it so much. And I'm like happy dance that she's decided that volleyball is a thing she loves. But I think what Merrill was saying was really great, and just those principles, like living every facet of your life with those sorts of principles. So making sure that you are disciplined and making good choices and doing the best you can in everything, because really being an Olympian, that attitude is what gets you success in life, in all of the other different facets of life. It's not just about sport, it's about a mindset, and it will make you successful in anything. And so I think if I were to tell my younger self that, I would definitely go through all of those bits and pieces. But I think the other thing was just living in the moment. I think I probably, even as I was playing as a professional athlete, I don't think I lived in the moment enough, and I kept living that little bit forward, what would happen at the end of that play. And I think the very best athletes are the ones that can really stay right in that moment of exactly what they're doing, and executing the play that they need to execute without worrying about what the consequences of it going right or wrong are. And I watched that over and over in these amazing athletes now. So that would be a really big one for me.
Yeah. Sean, same question over to you. What would you tell your younger self, or, a student athlete who, I know that you and I had conversations, right, when you were coaching me here, right, in terms of there were people on our team who, had aspirations of playing in the Olympics. So yeah, what would you tell yourself or a younger version of yourself, about beginning their athletics journey?
Well, first of all, I love what Merrill and Nicole said about in and out of the water, on and off the court. I couldn't agree with that more. Marv always said that Olympians tend to be good in all parts of their day, and I think that's important. And with the Olympics, we think about these big moments. The Olympics are awesome because you're flipping channels and from one event to the next, and somebody's every couple of minutes, somebody's heart is broken and somebody's, so fired up about what's going on. And so if I was talking to student athletes, and this may sound like I'm scratching the surface if we're addressing student athletes, but my advice is to go learn. Learning is everything. Learn about what makes you tick. Learn about how you best make changes. Learn about how you learn. Learn about your teammates. We hear a common idea or maybe even a platitude that you should be a student of the game. And I think it's exceedingly rare to find the student athletes that actually commit to that process. To me, the practice gym is sacred in this regard. Pepperdine is in Malibu. It's beautiful. They tell me it's by the ocean, but my happy place will forever be Firestone Fieldhouse. And so, committing yourself on and off the court, but in practice, those moments when you can grow, when you can level up, it's difficult to change. But the moments where you can actually change your career. Those moments are rare. So you're going to want to be ready for them when they pop up.
Yeah, Jennifer, over to you. Same question. You know, what do you tell your younger self or student athlete just kind of beginning their athletics journey?
The hardest thing is just believing in yourself and working through those struggles. I think every single time you pick yourself up and move forward, you look at almost all the successful athletes, look at Michael Jordan, the list of failures is huge. And people these days, I feel they're so afraid to fail because we live in this world where we have to be so perfect, but failure is part of making it who you are. And so just be prepared for that. Just keep moving forward and enjoy the friendships. Friendships are huge. Building those friendships kind of gets you through sports and gets you from one practice to the other and motivates you. Without those friendships, it just sometimes can be hard to keep moving forward with the dedication of going to practice and getting up and surrounding yourself with good people.
Awesome. Terry, same question to you. You know, as you were starting out on your journey, younger self, you know, what would you tell yourself looking back on your career path and all your successes?
Yeah, I'd say, you know, what everybody has said so far is all great advice. And those are certainly some of the most important things that we can do. To add to that, I would say, you know, share your goals, share your dreams with those around you that love you. I think it's so important to share those goals and to be able to hold yourself accountable that, you know, if you're only kind of there with yourself and telling yourself, this is what I'm going to do, it's easy to fail. But if you've told some special people around you, this is what I'm going to do, now you don't want to let them down either. So you've got a little more accountability, and those people become your support staff, your support team. You know, you can't do this alone. It's a tough journey, and there are a lot of struggles. There's a lot of adversity along the way, and you need those people sometimes to push you and to pick you up and to, you know, give you a pat on the back, and other times to, you know, maybe sock you in the arm a little bit and say, hey, you know, you're tougher than that. So those would be two things that I would add is share those dreams and goals with people you love. You're going to get naysayers along the way, and people are going to always tell you, oh, no way you're going to do that. There's no chance. And those aren't people you want around you. Those aren't people you want to hang around with. You want to hang around with people that believe in you and want to support you and want to love you through that process, because it is a tough journey, and very few people make it, you know, to the Olympic Games, but those that do have a good team around them.
That's awesome. Merrill, over to you. Same question, kind of wrapping up this round. You know, you touched on it briefly, I think, in your answer to Jim, but yeah, what would you tell your younger self or a young student athlete just beginning that athletics journey?
Obviously everything, you know, everyone has said is amazing advice. The big thing I would say is enjoy every moment, because it goes by so quickly. And we tell our student athletes this all the time. And then we talk to the seniors and have the seniors talk to the freshmen, and they're like, yeah, it's flown by. You know, there's something special about being part of team sports and being in that family atmosphere. And definitely Pepperdine is all about family. And it goes by so quick. And, you know, you don't want to, you know, let it pass you by, because it's very special to be part of a team and very special to be part of a program like Pepperdine University. And then obviously, you know, Team USA as well, getting to the Olympic stage. The same thing. A lot of people don't live in the moment, and, you know, the Olympic Games is 2 weeks long, but you're trained for 4 years for a quad to get there. And all the things you learn about yourself and your teammates in those 4 years are extremely important, and you don't want it to let, you know, pass you by.
Jennifer, let me follow up with a question. I remember the Sesame Street box where, you know, one of these things is not like the others. One of these things doesn't belong. You see 4 people here who are on a team, and 4 people who enjoyed every moment competing. Being a triathlete, I suspect there are moments along the way that are not enjoyable while you're in the midst of running a marathon and swimming and all of the things that you're doing, biking. Tell us what's going through your mind. You're at the Olympics, the gun goes off, and you know you have hours and hours and hours by yourself, competing with others, but by yourself. What kept you going during the competition, and what were you thinking about?
So are you portraying, oh, so at the Olympics? Well,
At the Olympics, yeah. When the gun goes off, you're like, I'm an Olympian, and you're
Well,
actually competing, but
yeah,
you're in a world by yourself. At least I would imagine. I've never done a triathlon.
I had the sharks in the harbor. They were in the harbor, so they had some people underwater to get the sharks out. But they did. But so your mind is like, oh my gosh, but then you forget about that. And once you're going off, really a triathlon too, even though you're a great swimmer, a lot of it's about getting in a right pack. So your whole mind is where you positioned at, so really your whole focus is positioning yourself up, getting out of the water, getting with a pack of people, finding out who you're going to ride with, making sure they had so many darn turns. Then your focus became not to crash, because all of a sudden on the Olympics, they had pylons that we weren't aware of. So the corners got tight. So my focus again was on not wrecking, obviously going through the pain, because it's very painful to race in any sport. It's painful. And then obviously enjoying it. So again, it was just a combination of stuff. You kind of go numb, and then you get to the run and it's just painful and you're ready to be done. But
I can only imagine.
So anyway.
I can only imagine. I have a hard time driving as far as you travel during the midst of a triathlon. Nicole, let me ask you this. Well, we're now 2 nights before opening ceremony, and picture yourself back to where you were. Like, what is going through the mind right now, 2 days before it all begins? You've been training forever. Put yourself in the mind of a person right now. What is it all surreal, or are you focused, or how's it feel right now to be an Olympian about to compete?
Well, first of all, it's tomorrow for us because it's Thursday here. So we only have 1 day to wait. Casting my mind back, I think the first maybe week I was in the village in the lead up was just the excitement of watching all the different athletes come in and just being sort of still in this dream, that like living this dream that I've got the uniform, they can't send me away now, I'm actually part of this. And then I think, for me, there were a lot of nerves because I was meant to compete in Sydney 2000, and I tore my ACL 2 months beforehand, so I didn't get to compete. And my partner in Athens won gold in Sydney. So there was a lot of pressure on me being the new person in the team. And I guess everyone on this call can relate to the fact that the Olympics is a beast like no other when it comes to media and the pressure of the whole world watching you. Beach volleyball in my little world is important, but in Australia, it doesn't get the time of day in the media. No one ever knows where we are or what we're doing or how well we're doing, even if we're very successful. So there were a lot of layers, and I was extremely nervous. And I felt like, but then when I got onto the court, when I walked into that stadium, we didn't walk in the opening ceremony because we played at 8 a.m. on the first day. So walking into that stadium was getting introduced onto the court was one of the best feelings ever. And I think as soon as I stepped onto that court and sort of stepped into my power and knew what my job was, I just relished the moment of having worked for so many years to earn the right to step onto that court. And I just switched into play mode and did my job. And it was an amazing feeling.
Wow. Excellent. Well, thank you for sharing that. Sean, I know the Firestone Fieldhouse is your happy place, but let me just tell you, there's something better coming. In 2026, we're opening up a new arena on Row Parking Lot. We're calling it The Mountain. It's going to be an arena worthy of our aspirations of excellence. So stay tuned. We'll make that your happy place. We're not going to tear down the Firestone Fieldhouse. We'll let you go back there and reminisce about playing for people in bleachers, but we're going to have a real stadium coming in the not too distant future. So just stay tuned for that. But let me ask you, put yourself ahead now in the Tokyo cycle, 2.5 weeks in, 2.5 weeks from now, where you now have a gold medal around your neck. You guys were Olympic champions. Like, where do things go from there? It's like, well, what's the next? What do you conquer? I mean, you're a gold medalist. I mean, did you have a hard time kind of getting up for something that was really exciting coming now that you've Olympic gold medalist, or how did that feel?
It was definitely a surreal moment in my career, and that moment happens at a different time for every athlete. So there's some athletes that go to 4 Olympics and then they win gold in their last Olympics, and so I was 25 when we won gold in Beijing in 2008. And so all that did was put an enormous target on our back for the rest of our careers. You know, we beat number 1 Brazil, and then in 2009, the next year, preparation for the next Olympics is right around the corner. And so in London in 2012, we ended up getting ousted in the quarterfinals, which means you don't get to play for a medal, and it's kind of a devastating situation. So in that regard, you have to, I think Merrill said earlier, you have to be in the moment and be able to enjoy that moment, because each moment is unique and each event is different, and you can't control the timing and of when you win and you lose, but it's special no matter what happens at the Olympics. It's a special event, but it is so important to realize where you're at and be happy in that moment.
Excellent. Back to you, Jimmy.
Thank you, Jim. All right, beginning our next round here, Terry, we're going to kick it off with you. Being an Olympian is a dream for so many, right? I'm sure so many people on this call have had aspirations or have had hopes of, one day representing their country. What was maybe, a dream moment, if there was one, that kind of came true for you? And then kind of second part to that on the flip side is maybe an unexpected challenge that you kind of had to battle through.
Dream moments. I mentioned one, walking into the opening ceremonies in 1984 with that home crowd chanting USA, USA. I mean, it felt like I was floating off the ground. I don't even remember walking around the track. It was so amazing. And then we're out in the middle there, and Rayford Johnson comes around and lights the Olympic torch. And when that torch ignited, it was kind of like a flame ignited in my body, knowing that moment I realized that, okay, this is real. I'm an Olympian. I'm going to get a chance to compete for my country over the next 2.5 weeks. So that was a pretty special moment. 1988, I got chosen to carry the flag in closing ceremonies for the USA, which was another one of those moments of just, hardly remembering walking around the track, just being so proud to carry the USA flag and represent all the Olympians. Very special moment. But, some of the kind of unexpected moments, I think, that were really special coming from Pepperdine were, I remember, and I still look at this picture once in a while, from 1984 and opening ceremonies of myself and Craig Buck and Linda Chisholm, the Pepperdine group that was there. We were all good friends, and to make it together. Marv Dunphy in 2008, we would see each other 1 or 2 in the morning, in the break room, making some copies or something, because he was helping coach, I was coaching, and we were, that's the only time we saw each other, is we finally were taking a little bit of a break and making some calls home. I think one of my favorite moments that I remember as a coach is calling up Merrill and knowing, what Merrill could do to help our team. And in 2008, I had just been selected the assistant coach in 2007. And I phoned Merrill. Merrill was the first call I made after I left Ricardo Azevedo. And I said, I just got asked to be the assistant coach. And if I'm going to do this, I want you to do it with me. And Merrill was working in the financial world, doing loans, and he didn't think about it that long. He said, I'm in. And that was a very happy moment for me, because I knew that with Merrill on our team, we'd have a chance to win a medal and hopefully a gold medal. So a lot of special moments. I mean, obviously the biggest challenge was the boycott in 1980. That was crushing, and it was really tough. One more thing I want to mention, in 1988, we had just lost the semifinal game. No, I'm sorry, 1992, we lost semifinal game. So we knew we didn't have a chance to win a medal. And I was on my way walking back to the village, and I ran into Kurt Kilgore. And Kurt was in his wheelchair. He was quadriplegic. But Kurt was very connected with Pepperdine. He was there doing color commentating for the volleyball competition. And, Kurt didn't know the results, and he was all excited. He said, Terry, tell me what happened, tell me what happened in the game. And, I started to spew out that we had lost, and we'd, maybe had some bad calls. And it was like I got hit in the head with a brick, because, here I was talking to Kirk, who always was so happy and so engaging, and just such a positive attitude. And, made me realize how fortunate I was to just be there competing in the Olympics for the United States. And it was a real lesson in perspective, I think. And even though we didn't win a medal, it became one of my favorite Olympic stories and moments, really. My wife and I went back to the village with him, had dinner, and everything was okay. It made it all okay. So it was a good lesson in perspective.
Yeah, amen. Nicole, next over to you. Same question. What was a dream moment that may have come true for you, and maybe an unexpected challenge that you had to work through?
Yeah, look, funnily enough, I think they might be both the same thing. So we made the bronze medal match in Athens, and that in itself, to be playing for a medal, obviously pretty devastated to lose the semi-final, but to still be in contention for a medal was an amazing experience. But in the lead up to the games, my partner, Natalie Cook, and I both had serious shoulder injuries. And so we came into that game, we ended up both having to have our shoulders reconstructed right after. We pretty much flew straight home and had some pretty big surgeries. And so we knew going into that we would just have to play our hearts out. Nat dove for a ball and hurt her shoulder during the semi-final, and I think the third set or the second set. And she was serving underarm, which for any of you who've watched Olympic beach volleyball, it's not really a thing that we do. So we just battled. We battled through this to try and leave absolutely everything on the court. And I think that was such a challenge. To try and find a way to play differently than we had in our preparation, etc. So I think I was devastated to not get a medal, but I was so proud to know that we played together as a team, and we did everything we could in our power to represent our country and ourselves. And I think just that feeling of being cheered off the court at the end of the match, knowing our families were there, was probably, I would say probably the biggest highlight of my career, even though we didn't win the match. So challenge and happy memories all in one.
Yeah, that's awesome. Merrill, over to you for this one. Same thing, dream moment that came true for you, and then again, maybe an unexpected challenge that you had to work through.
Dream moment, and one of the biggest challenges I had to overcome was, obviously, I told you guys I was being cut last person a month before the Olympics in 2004. Dream moment, getting that phone call from Terry to come back and train with Team USA. And by no means did that position get handed to me. I had to work really hard to get on the team and be named the starting goalkeeper, because they only take 2 goalies and usually only 1 plays. But 2008, we were ranked 9th going into the Olympics. No one expected us to do anything. And, obviously being an Olympian, walking into opening ceremonies, something I'll never forget, obtaining that goal. But, we believed in ourselves and our team, and it's amazing what you can do as a team. And everyone knows if you play like a bunch of individuals in team sports, you're not going to get anywhere. And a bunch of people counted us out, but had a great coaching staff, a great group of guys, and we shocked the world. We ended up, the one moment I'll never forget is playing Serbia, who on paper was the team to beat, should have won the gold medal. At every position on paper, they were better than everyone else. We ended up beating them 10-5 in the semifinal game. And that was a beach ball day for me. As a goalie, when the ball looks like a beach ball, it's good. I had 17 blocks. And we were fired up. So, going in 9th and definitely getting to that gold medal game, dream moment. Unfortunately, we didn't finish the job, lost to Hungary. But that was a special moment. And then, some of the obstacles to overcome, going into my 2012 Olympic Games, Sean kind of mentioned this, we had a target on our back. We weren't the underdog anymore. And, realizing how special that silver medal was when we ended up getting knocked to the 5th through 8 bracket, and, making sure that you still realize that, your team realizes that you still got to put everything out on the table and give it your all, because you're representing Team USA. And so, just making sure that everyone finishes the tournament strong when you're devastated from getting knocked out. And definitely had multiple experiences, because in 2016, we got knocked out after the first week. So 3 different Olympics, but everyone was very special, and representing Team USA is an honor in itself.
Awesome. Jennifer, quickly over to you for the same question. Maybe a big moment, dream moment, and then a challenge. Yeah.
A dream moment was obviously qualifying for the Olympics. There were 6 of us, so it could have been anybody's day. And looking at the Teletron, seeing it, it took some time to comprehend. I'm going to go to the Olympics. I'm going to compete in USA and Sydney. It was just quite a big moment. And then the year I worked while I trained. So I was a full-time teacher. So that put a little bit of challenges. So when I won nationals one year, I guess I started believing in myself more, because I knew I worked full-time. I knew I was trying to train. But during all this time in 99, my dad came down with cancer, and I'm in Denver and he's in San Antonio, and it's only me. So that put a damper. What do I do? Do I keep training? I can't stop teaching because I need the money. I started having to juggle a lot and just kind of rethink life. And that was a big, big challenge. And my dad, he died of cancer. So that last year is really tough when they go through just their last stages. And his only wish was that I don't stop training. So he said, even if I'm getting ready to die, you got to tell. He just kept telling me, I want you to train. I want you to be there. I want you to not give up. And so that he goes, that's all I want. So that was a hard struggle with trying to train, trying to teach, and trying to fly back to take care of him. And somehow it all worked out, but you don't know how things work out, but things just do. And I don't know how, you just figure it out. And then 6 weeks before the Olympics, I got injured and I couldn't walk. And I didn't want to tell anybody because I didn't want to get pulled off the team. Because if they find out I can't run, then I have to give up my spot to the alternate. So I didn't know where to go get healed because I couldn't go to the training center or they'd know I'm injured. So I chose to kind of rehab myself without walking for 6 weeks. So I, did everything. I did water running, just got in the pool and ran. I still biked, I still swam, and I ran race day. So I was a minute slower at the Olympics than my qualifying time, but I was the happiest person in the world because I only added 1 minute to my time, which nobody knew this, but I was so grateful because I didn't even know if I'd finish the run. So that just truly believes what the body could do with your mind, changing your mindset. Somehow it just works out if you believe. Everything does. And you got to know that something's out there that's going to pull you forward to believe. And there's energy that comes from somewhere if you just keep believing.
Man, powerful. Thank you for sharing. Sean, over to you. Same question, dream moment that came true and maybe an unexpected challenge that you had to overcome.
So my challenges to overcome were mostly involving injuries. And when you're young and you're thinking of playing in the Olympics, and I'm watching Dane Blanton, I'm watching Kevin Barnett, and I'm watching these people play. I think I'm going to go to the Olympics. I'm going to feel great. I'm going to be jumping high. And then the reality was in Beijing, I played on a torn meniscus. And then in London, my shoulder was, mostly held on by a little bit of tape and maybe a couple ligaments. And so that was the difficulty, is overcoming those challenges on the spot. On the flip side, there is one moment that sticks out in my mind above all others about my Olympic experience. In 2008, we beat Brazil to win it all. And I won't forget standing on the podium with my teammates, listening to the national anthem. I took a moderate amount of heat and criticism because apparently in the broadcast, when they panned to my face, I wasn't singing the Star Spangled Banner. And to those critical of that moment, I guess my first response was that when you win a gold medal, you can go and decide whether or not you want to sing. But the reason was that I wasn't singing is that I was really taking in the moment. And I thought of everything that had led up to that point, and not just representing my country and managing not to embarrass my family on the world stage. It had more to do with my hometown, my former teammates, coaches. And honestly, I thought a lot about Pepperdine. So proud to represent Pepperdine at the Olympics. It takes such a strong community to band together and work together if you're a small but mighty college trying to take on other D1 schools. And it shows from the recent success of the golf team. That was awesome. Or back in the day, beating UCLA at UCLA. There I go again. It never gets old. That moment on the podium certainly sticks out more than any other from my experience as an Olympian.
Awesome. Angela, Becky, will I go ahead and do maybe this giveaway? I believe we have a special guest who might be joining us here. Kevin, can you hear us?
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, joining us live from Tokyo, Kevin Barnett is here, two-time Olympian. Kevin, say hello to your Pepperdine family.
What's up, everybody? It's nice to see a whole bunch of my generation of Olympians, people that were either coaching while I was there or who were actually playing there that I haven't seen or talked to in forever. It's great. And sorry for the backdrop that it's not that great, but streaming inside the arena is totally frowned upon and illegal. So I'm in an undisclosed location in a hallway.
That's awesome. Well, hey, maybe quickly, just give us maybe the vibe, and maybe I'll give Jim a chance to ask you a question too, but give us the feeling, as we're nearing the opening ceremonies, what's the pulse kind of on the ground there in Tokyo right now?
It's weird because there aren't very many people. And normally this is a time where this whole area would be just filled with people anticipating the games and an energy that that only comes when you have, I don't know, 250,000 or more people coming together from all over the planet. And so that's really missing. And it's kind of sad to see a lot of these arenas in a place like Japan that is totally unique, with such a conscientious society and people, and a place that I loved coming as a player, as my favorite place to play. It's really a shame that it's not getting shown off to so many people in person, that they don't get to showcase Tokyo and the Japanese people and how remarkable they are, and all the reasons that I love them, and have other people learn about it. It's tragic, really, for them. It's great for the athletes that it's actually happening and they get to compete. I didn't even believe that it was going to happen until I got on the plane and I arrived. I thought there was a possibility to be canceled, even right up to when I was departing a week ago.
Awesome. Well, Kevin, this is Jim Gash. I'm the 8th president of Pepperdine. We're thrilled that you've joined us from Japan. Why don't you give our audience a sense of what it is that you're doing there? You're not competing anymore for Team USA, but tell us what you're going to be doing.
Yeah, those that can play. Those that can't, just talk about it. So I'll be on my now 4th broadcast for the indoor side of volleyball, men's and women's. This is my 4th time being here in that role. So my 6th summer games in a row. And we will have myself and my partner, Paul Sunderland, who've been together since about 2007. We will be covering both the USA matches, but then also important other matches that will factor in to the quarterfinals and eventual finals coming up at the last day of the event. Volleyball is pretty unique. It goes from the day after opening to the day of closing. There is no window. It's the whole time.
Wow. And make sure and say hello to Kim Hill, one of our graduates who's playing for the women's team this year.
I will. And I was talking to her sister and now brother-in-law, because in a unique Olympic thing at the 2016 Olympic Games, Feluca Akinrado of Stanford, her brother met Kim Hill's sister. They got married in 2018, and they were hoping to, of course, celebrate that here back at the Olympics with both of their siblings still playing. Would have been a pretty remarkable moment, but had a great time talking to them just before I came here. And that's one of the great things about being able to cover this. I'm still a part of it. It's the next best thing to playing, but you get to hear the stories and get to know the people and be sidelined to some of the greatest moments, like Sean winning a gold medal. It was really special to still be a part of the show and get a chance to watch a lot of people I played with have such success. I also have the tin medal or participation certificate. I think Nicole and I own the same spot, 4th in the 2004 games.
Well, thanks for coming, and thanks for violating the law for Pepperdine. We appreciate that. We don't condone that, but we're grateful for it.
Yeah, don't tell anybody. I think as long as it's not in the arena, I'm okay.
All right. Thanks for coming, Kevin.
Thanks, Kevin. Really appreciate it. Hey, quickly before we get in some audience Q&A here, we had some great questions come through. I just wanted to thank everyone for being here tonight. We have randomly selected 3 audience members to win Pepperdine Wave swag. So a member from Pepperdine Alumni Affairs will get in contact with you to confirm your address. So our winners are Gary Moy, Lori Addison, and Tamara Downs. So congrats on winning some Pepperdine swag. We'll get that out to you. I know we're getting close here to 8, but we've had some great questions come in through the chat. So I want to make sure that we have a chance to get you guys some of those. So if you've got a few more minutes, we're going to keep this going for a little bit longer. First question, for Nicole and Sean. Nicole, I'll go to you first. What impact did your Pepperdine coaches, Nina, have on your Olympic achievement? And then same question, Sean, for you with Marv.
Wow. There's so many things I could say in answer to that. I came to Pepperdine because Nina took a chance on me. She'd never seen me play. She just took a gamble on some kid from Australia who she heard could jump pretty high. And I think that I got really lucky. I think one of her friends saw me play and she took me in, and anyone that knows Nina knows she's fierce and she has high expectations. And she was the absolute most amazing coach for me. She made me believe in myself. She pushed me in a way that worked for me. I think it was Sean was saying about learning how you, like working out how you need to learn or how you need to be coached. And Nina did that for me. And I will forever be grateful for that. I think about her often, and I'm always so, so grateful for the skills and the belief she instilled in me. And also, I know Marv wasn't my coach, but he was there every day, and he was such an important person to me and my Pepperdine family and journey. And he was always there to support and give advice and just be the awesome human that he is. And I'm really grateful to have had him to be in his orbit as well.
Sean, I mean, obviously Marv has done so much for so many, right? But, for you, how did Marv kind of impact, your journey to being an Olympian?
There's a lot of reasons to attend Pepperdine, countless reasons really, but I spend as much time in the ocean as I do on the moon. That wasn't why I was at Pepperdine. I came to Pepperdine to be near Marv, to soak up whatever he could give me, learn from his experience, and from being able to watch go back and watch the tapes and see the games that he coached in and experience how he treats his players. It's really inspiring, and I have a really special relationship with Marv because he knew how to push me. He knew how to pull on the leash when that needed to be done as well. And he's just an amazing person to be around, because he would always put you in situations and give you a chance to learn. And that's, his doctorate in motor learning and all the everything that he did to become a wonderful coach. I was able to benefit from that. And it's not just about becoming a good volleyball player. It in parallel, it's about becoming a good person and taking all that stuff forward with you in life and doing things right.
Jim, I think you want to maybe talk us or show us through, or are we going to look? I know we have such a rich history, but we just want to show you guys quickly, if you haven't already seen on pepperdinewaves.com. Jim, over to you. Walk us through.
So if you are interested in following along and watching our Waves compete this Olympics, we've looked back at 5 of our incredible Olympians. We have 8 more in the making this time. And so if you watch women's basketball for Canada, you can watch Miranda, you can watch Kim on women's volleyball, Danielle playing golf for Team USA, John Mascot playing baseball for Israel, Mayar playing tennis for Egypt, Jesse playing water polo for the United States, Luisa playing tennis for Brazil, and Lynn playing soccer for the US. Not to mention the coaches we have who are participating in some way, shape, or form with helping our teams excel: Marv, Brian, Tom, and Alex. So tune in and watch history being made for our Pepperdine Waves at this next Olympics.
Yeah. Hey, before we log off here, maybe I just want to, I'll go to you, Terry, first, but, just maybe, final thoughts from each of our panelists, just in terms of, final message for this group, this Pepperdine Waves community is, the Tokyo Olympics are about to get underway here.
No, I'm just honored to be a part of the panel. It's great to see some familiar faces, Sean and Nicole, and it's a wonderful family, and the Olympics are a really special time, and I'm looking forward to watching the Olympics from Tokyo and supporting our team and supporting our Pepperdine athletes. So thanks for having me.
Jennifer, you're up.
Well, thank you also for having me. Sports has given me so much, and I continue to say that it's just given me a whole outlook on life. And so thanks for just kind of letting me reflect on this opportunity and being there for other people, and hoping that probably anybody watching today has some connection to sports, and just take what you can for what it offers you, the most valuable lessons in life.
Merrill, your chance.
No, thank you for doing this. It's definitely something that means a lot to me. The Olympics is a big part of me and always will be. And the one thing I could say for everyone watching is, grab your family and watch the games. It's a special moment, and it's awesome to see Team USA competing, and not just Team USA, everyone competing. And fighting and showing all the hard work that they put in come out in these next 2 weeks, and excited to root on the Waves that are over there. And I think Team USA and the Pepperdine Waves are going to do something special in this Olympics, and very excited that it's happening.
Amen. Nicole, over to you.
Yeah, thank you again for having me. I'm so grateful for technology. Obviously, I'm physically far away from Pepperdine, but it's always in my heart, and it's really nice to be able to connect and feel like I'm a part of it, even from afar. Very excited to cheer on all the Waves who are competing in Tokyo, and of course my Australian team, and friends who are competing for other countries as well. And I don't know if any of you saw last night, but Australia just got awarded the 2032 Olympic Games, which will be in Brisbane. And so I live 1 hour drive south of Brisbane, and a lot of the events will actually be here on the Gold Coast. So that was a very exciting leading to the games for us as well. But yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, that's awesome. Sean, take us home.
Yeah, so I think in my introduction I said that Pepperdine is in my bones, and so I'm thankful to have any opportunity I can to interact with the community. And as the Olympics get started, I just encourage anyone to think about research and think about, as it's going on, the Olympic movement, and it's pretty rare these days that there's an event that includes everybody, and where there's a chance for everybody to be a part of it, and that's pretty special. And I think that's what I'm looking forward to the most right now.
Yeah. Well, President Gash, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us. Thank you, panelists. Thank you, everyone, just for joining us and listening and tuning in tonight. Have a great rest of your evening. Nicole, have a great rest of your day. I'm sure you have lots going on, and go Waves. Thanks so much, everybody.
We're proud of you all. Thank you for joining us. God bless you.